Hi, I'm Lucy King. I'm in Bergen at this CMS conference, which is very exciting, and I've won the PhD Thesis Award 2011, which I'm over the moon about. It's for my PhD looking at the use of bees as an elephant deterrent. So I'm working in Kenya on this problem of human-elephant conflict, where elephants are coming into human land and crop raiding inside farms. Now, these farms have been built up over the last few years as the human population has increased. And we've tried to look at alternatives to electric fences. So electric fences are a very negative thing to put in the landscape. Other animals also have problems migrating through the area, but elephants in particular suffer from having their migratory routes cut off by electric fences. So we've turned to a natural solution using honeybees as a deterrent. And we now know that elephants are scared of bees. They run from them if you play bee sounds to them. And by using beehive fences around the farm boundaries, we've actually stopped elephants from entering farms. And they're now migrating naturally around farm areas on their normal migratory routes, either to water or to other food areas. So this is a natural solution to what is quite a serious problem in Kenya and other parts of Africa. It seems extraordinary that bees can stop elephants when they're so minute. But what you mustn't forget is that the African honeybee comes in swarms of up to 100,000. And I've been stung by 20 of these bees all at once, and it hurts so badly. And of course what we've discovered is when a swarm of African honeybees erupts, the sound is almost deafening that comes out of these beehives. And elephants have enormous ears, I mean, many thousand times the size of ours. So they can hear minute detail of this swarm erupting out of the hive, and it's terrifying to them. So they run as fast as they can in the opposite direction. And I understand. I've been swarmed by bees and I know how scary it is, so I'm not surprised they run.
You said that you used wild bees, but I believe you put them into beehives that can be hung up on fences around the farmland. So yes. How does that work? How do you get the wild bees into those beehives?
Yes, we're using wild bees to protect farmlands from elephant intrusions, and all we do is we actually build the beehives in the community, and we hang the beehives up around the farm, and we just wait. And it seems extraordinary, but in the areas that we're working with, we're dealing with very natural bushland, and there are bees in the area, and they migrate several times in the year. We have a very tropical climate in Kenya, so we don't have a strong winter or a strong summer, so there are bees swarming all the way through the year, and the bees just come. So we have we've had up to 76% occupation in some fences, but normally we're talking between 20 and 55% occupation.
Okay.
So one hive in every 3 is occupied.
Okay.
That sort of ratio.
Yeah.
And this method has been used in other countries in Africa?
The beehive fences have been adopted by some studies in Uganda, Tanzania, and hopefully they're going to try them in Botswana in 2012. I've also heard rumours of them starting in other places like Mozambique, where there's a very large elephant population. And I'm really hoping to go and help with those projects and see if they can adapt it in any different way, if there's any improvements they can come up with, if the elephants behave the same. Of course, I've only looked at East Africa elephants, and I don't know much about the bee swarms and the bee species down in those countries, so I'd be really interested to see if it works in other countries.
Who assisted you in this research?
I've been greatly helped by Save the Elephants, which is a research organisation based in Kenya, and their whole aim is to try and find ways of humans and people to live compatibly together and to allow elephants to live their natural lives. I'm also based at Oxford University, and my professor, Professor Fritz Vorath, is the chairman of Save the Elephants, so it's been a really wonderful collaborative team.
But I'm sure you also work with local people, of course, with the farmers who in the end have to implement this and have to build the fences. How were the reactions of the people? I don't know, were they maybe skeptic in the beginning, or did you get a lot of support? How was that relationship?
I've been working with 3 different tribal areas of Kenya, 3 different communities, and each of the communities I went to, first of all, were very skeptical. They were very open-minded and they were very interested to help with this project. But they were very honest with me and said they didn't think it was going to work. And I was very pleased that they were honest with me. They said, this is never going to work. Why will bees keep elephants away? And by the end of the study, in each of the 3 communities, they all unanimously said, we believe this now works. And they were so helpful. They came up with innovative designs. They were fully involved in the development of the fences. They monitor them every day, every night, of course, so I relied completely on their participation. I couldn't have done it without them. So they're very pleased that it's worked in different communities, and they're very proud that they were some of the first communities to try it.
Yeah. How did you get the idea that this could work? I mean, how did you get to this topic, and how did you come to the bees?
Yes. So my professor at Oxford worked on a ranch in Kenya, and he spoke to some farmers who had beehives in acacia trees. And he said, that's interesting that these acacia trees are so undamaged by elephants, because acacia trees are so much a favourite food source. And they said very casually, oh, that's because they have beehives in, so the elephants won't come. And he was startled by this, and he said, this is a really interesting piece of local folklore. And he just monitored those trees, and after 3 months he realised that the trees with beehives didn't get touched by the elephants. So he wrote a small paper in 2002 about this small discovery. And that's all it went. So when I met him, he talked to me about that project, and I was so intrigued by it. And I instantly thought there could be more to this. And although it's interesting that you can protect trees, I wonder that you can take it to another step, and whether we could protect farmland. But also I was interested in the academic side, whether I could actually understand how elephants respond to bees in the wild. Because I feel very passionate. It's not just elephants that we see suffering from these blocked routes. I mean, we're dealing with Grevy's zebras, one of the most rare animals in Africa. There's only 2,600 left in our study area. And the Grevy's zebras also have this trouble of coming across road barriers, in particular bridges, dams that have been built. We've got lions which are suffering from too much population growth around the national reserves, and they can't now migrate from one national park to another. So we're seeing a lot of large, iconic migratory species blocked by unmanaged human population growth, and it's incredibly serious.
And what's the lesson learned from that?
Well, my lesson is that I believe there are natural solutions to possible conflicts with humans and wildlife. I don't think we always have to go to the extreme end of electric fences, culling, moving translocation animals. I think there are natural solutions, and you can use natural behaviours to deter one animal from another location. Usually it's deterring animals from a human habitat. Of course, sometimes we know humans have invaded the wildlife's habitat, so there's always a conflict, and we're not always sure who's right and who's wrong. But if we can find natural solutions, I think that's one of the best ways we can move forward. I really believe that a lot of the problems we're facing with wildlife and conflicts between wildlife and humans are related to corridors, and if we enable corridors to stay open between migratory routes, it reduces so many issues: conflicts with humans, crop raiding in the case of elephants, in case of predators eating livestock. It's often because their normal routes between feeding areas and watering areas have been blocked. And I think that one simple concept of keeping migratory corridors open would solve so many of these issues we're now battling to contend with. So that would be my take-home message, is about wildlife migration corridors, and keep them open.